Hey everybody, welcome back to Dirt Grease Outdoor Peace. I am going to try to use a mini excavator to dig out a very large dead Scotch pine. It is crowding our trail right here and makes it hard for us to get through here. So I'm going to try to do my best to start out around the edges, break these roots, dig the dirt out, work my way in, and try to push the tree down over there, and then I'll probably have my dad cut it a few times, and then get this all graded off nice and give us some more room on this roadway here. And so that'll be nice. We got a little tulip poplar that's came up wild. We caged it, otherwise the deer will just keep eating it right to the ground. I got my tripod waiting there for me. And actually this other pine is dead too, but we'll just cut that. Probably just leave the stump a little high. Hopefully that's not too close for you. Try to give you a little view at the same time. I'm behind on my videos. I apologize, especially to those people that are dedicated to the channel and watching what I'm doing. I have a video that I just putting together now. Actually, I was going to work on it this morning and the computer locked up. And it was about the last time I got out of the hospital. June 22nd, I had my transsphenoidal surgery to remove the rest of the tumor. And then I had a leak, cerebral spinal fluid leak, and the seal back there wasn't working. So on the 29th, and I was still in the hospital. The 29th, I had to have another surgery for them to go in and fix the leak. So then I came home. So on this video that I'm putting together now, I talked about I got out of the hospital on July 2nd. I came home and I was in pretty rough shape. I had been in the hospital for a week and a half. You know, I wasn't doing anything. I'm used to being outside. I'm used to being active all the time. And so that took a toll on me. Having a lumbar drain in my spine, it kind of irritated a nerve a little bit, so I was having some like sciatic type pain in my left side. It just took a little while. So then I talked about it in this other video that I'm making. The 13th, I had just started to smell and taste a little bit. The 14th, I went to the ear, nose, and throat specialist in Roswell, and he pulled these plastic splints out of my nose, and like 95% of the packing, there's packing way back in, because your sinuses go back in like all the way to your back of your throat. I mean, they take that tool and they reach in there like 5 inches with those tools and the vacuum. I mean, it's the whole time I'm trying to be still and not move around, but I'm like grabbing onto my legs and trying to be stable, because it is really uncomfortable, but it's just something I got to do. So that was the 14th, and then Saturday was the 15th, Sunday was the 16th. I had like maybe a little wetness on the one side, and I just thought it was, you know, I don't want to say condensation or something, but you know, just a little wetness there. Well, then on Monday I had to go back to Orchard Park to see the neurosurgeon for a checkup, and I started Monday, when I stood up, I would just drip, 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 drip. If I leaned forward, it was drip, drip, drip. If I sat in the chair, or if I sat in my truck with my head in the headrest, it would go down the back of my throat, and I'm like, what the heck is going on, you know? And I talked to the girl, the PA at the neurosurgeon, and she said, well, I don't think it's cerebral spinal fluid. She said, but you know, it might be something just with the sinuses being reactivated and all that. And I said, okay, so, well, so I came home. Well, then Tuesday morning, we get up real early and go to the grocery store. And, excuse me, I didn't feel that good. Then I came back and I was freezing. I had a hooded sweatshirt on. I had my hood up. My fingers got cold and numb, and I laid in the chair, covered up with a blanket, and still had that drip. My nose was all raw from wiping the drip, and I'm like, what the heck? I must have got sick or something. Must have got a sinus infection. So like midday I called, excuse me, I called the ear, nose, and throat specialist and talked to him, and he's like, I don't like the sounds of that. He's like, it's clear and watery, and I said, yeah, and he said, it sounds like cerebral spinal fluid. I'm like, oh no. So then he talked to UB. UB said, keep an eye on it, you know, as long as it's not, you know, a really bad drip, you know, just keep an eye on it. So then he called me back, and I said, well, can it be just like a sinus infection or something with, you know, like the sinuses are, you know, active again now and all that? And he said, I've had hundreds of colds and sinus problems. He said, I'm sure you've had sinus infections and problems. He said, if it was a sinus infection or something going on, he said it wouldn't be clear and it wouldn't be watery. Usually if you have something with your sinuses, it's either green or yellow or it's mucusy, and it wasn't. It was like water. It was just dripping out. And he said, I want you to go back to the hospital. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go through this again. And it was, you know, it would mean another surgery. And this was Tuesday afternoon. And so I said, oh my God, doc, I said, I don't want to go through this again, you know. And it's just starting to get over the hospital from the last time. And he said, it sounds like, he said, I don't want to play any games. He said, I don't want anything to happen to you. He said, it sounds like a cerebral spinal fluid leak. And he said, I want you to go to the hospital. He said, I'm going to send the orders. He said, go to the emergency room. They'll check you in and then get you into the hospital. And so we got up to Buffalo at like 8 o'clock at night. Went to the ER. They ran a bunch of tests. The guy had me lean forward, excuse me, made it drip, and took some samples, which don't do any good because there is no, as of right now, there is no instant test for cerebral spinal fluid. It takes 10 to 14 days for them to send off a sample and get it back and tell you whether or not it is CSF. So it's like, what the heck? So they got me a room. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, like 2 or 2:30 in the morning, the guy from UB comes in to put the lumbar drain in. It's like a small 1/8-inch piece of plastic. They do it right in the room. They had me on my side, kind of almost on my stomach, but not quite. And he gave me, didn't give me any local anesthetic. I think they gave me one shot of like a sedative. And then they use the nurse told me, she said, you don't want to see the size of this needle. She said the needle was as big as the tube. It's like 1/8 inch diameter needle. They poke a hole, they go into your spinal column, and then they go up. And this, so the tube, where the tube goes in your body, it goes from like a firm 1/8 inch nylon line, clear line, to like a translucent, flexible, real soft line, and it tapers down and gets smaller. So it was like maybe it tapered down to like 1/16. So they go in my lower mid back, they go in, and then they try to bend that thing and go up, and that thing was in my spinal column 9 inches. And he had me like in a fetal position like this with my head down, and he started putting that thing in there and hit the nerve. I don't know if it was a sciatic nerve or what it was for my right leg, but my right leg shot out and it felt like my leg was on fire. And I apologized up and down to the guy, and he's like, that's all right, just, you know, try to be still. It happened again. They gave me 2 more shots of the sedative, so then I could still feel it, but I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just like half shot. Finally they got the thing in. Then they put, I don't know how many stitches through my skin to hold that tube in place, and then they put a big bandage over it. So that was an ordeal. So then, I don't know if it was, I don't remember now. So that was that was Wednesday morning. I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday. It might have been early Thursday. Excuse me. The doctor from UB, the Indian doctor there from UB, he would come at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning. It must have been the day of the surgery. Thursday they were planning on doing the surgery. So they stopped. They were pulling fluid off to take the pressure off of the seal to keep it from running out my nose. So then Thursday morning they capped the line. He came in and put this fluorescein dye in there, and I said, well, now we're going to find out if it's CSF, because if it's CSF, it'll be green dye running out of my nose. So I was tired, so I laid over on my side, and I knew on my side I could get it to come out of my nose. So I had a bunch of tissues there on the pillow. So I laid over, and it was dripping and dripping and dripping, and it was clear. And I thought, well, maybe I got lucky. Maybe it's not CSF. And so then I fell asleep, and my dad woke me up a little while later. He's like, hey, you got green stuff all over your pillow. I'm like, oh no. So then we knew. That was the test right there. So it was definitely spinal fluid. And excuse me. So they said they said that surgery would be somewhere around midday. Well, then they got busy and something happened. They kept putting it off, and so then it was like 7 o'clock at night. I told my dad, and I hadn't eaten all day. And I told my dad, I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. He's like, I know, I'm so sorry. 7:45 they come in, they say, okay, they're coming to get you at 8 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God. So I went down there like 8:30 or so. They took me into surgery, and so I had another surgery. After surgery, they put me in ICU. They laid me flat for like 8 hours to keep the pressure off of that. in the ICU. They didn't have a bathroom right in their room in the ICU, and I talked to my dad a little bit, and he was just not very comfortable. I said, I'm good now. You just go home and relax. And I said, I'll talk to you in a few days. And so then they ended up keeping me for several days, and so I can't remember what the date was actually, but I was in the hospital for a week and a day this time. I got this cough, and it was terrible before. It's like a tickle in my throat when I talk. I think when they put me under and they put the tube down your throat, I don't know if they excuse me, I don't know I don't know if they irritated something, or if they, it never felt like I had pneumonia. I don't think they ever gave me pneumonia. I think they just irritated my throat a little bit. So that's been a challenge, but you know, and is it a week? Yeah, I think it was a week ago today. So I feel pretty good. Everything's been dry. Now I go again tomorrow to Buffalo to have them pull these splints out and to pull some of the packing out. So I hope it works out. I never expected to have this much trouble. Well, whoever would have thought that. The problem was that excuse me. It's not the doctors or anybody else. The problem was that I put up with symptoms for too long, and the tumor was there for so long that it eroded my bone, and it made it hard for them to try to seal it. So that's where all the problems are coming from. You know, it's not. That's really all there is to it. So you know, if you got something wrong with you, or you got something that's bugging you, go see your doctor, because you know, the more you put things off, the worse it's gonna get, the harder it's gonna get to for them to fix it or repair it. So that's just my my 2 cents on that part. So yeah, let's see if we can start. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody listening and watching, and you know, it's not really something that I just want to blab to the public, but you know, I know there's a lot of, you know, YouTube is, I think, going to be a bigger part of my life moving forward, and I just want to share what's going on. I kind of apologize for not excuse me, it's coughing. I mean, no, just want to apologize for not keeping the content on a regular basis. So yeah, so let's see if we can use a mini excavator to get a big old pine tree down. Thanks. Find where these roots are. Yeah, probably not a good idea to pile the dirt on the road. Dummy. There you are. There's the root. Ow. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I'll get you outside here in a minute. One of the things with these, especially with these bigger trees, you got to have a nice hole for that tree to want to kind of fall into. So, and especially with a small excavator, if I can dig this out, and then I can kind of reach under there and undermine that a little bit. So far, so good. Now, let's see if I can see that one. Yeah, that one goes all the way across the road. Yeah, let me get straightened out here a little bit. Must be a couple. Yeah, there's another one right there. Oh, that's good. So I want to go that way, and all the roots are on this side. Nice. That's okay. Looks like it's not going to be horrible anyways. It's been dead for a while. Oh yeah. Jumped out of there. yeah, what I said about, I forgot to tell you. So that was a Tuesday that I had talked to that doctor again, and he said to go back to the hospital. That was the last thing I wanted to do. Of course, I had felt like crap, and I didn't do anything all day anyways, but my dad was busy. He's 74, so he was busy, or he was, you know, doing more than me, that's for sure. So he had just came in the house. I'm sorry about that. He had just came in the house. He sat down, he was watching the news, and I had just talked to that doctor, and I was upset. I was, you know, not only was I not feeling good, I was just worried. I was worried if they could fix it at all. So I came in and I'm so sorry. It was all it was all I could do to muster up the words to say the doctor wants me to go back to the hospital, and you know, I'm older. You know, my parents and I have a very close relationship, and that was the last thing I wanted to lay on them, that I had to go back to the hospital. My dad was sitting back in his recliner, and he said, "Let's go." He got up, started getting his stuff ready, and it was just exactly what I needed to hear, because stupid me, I probably would have put it off. And so, you know, thank God for the good doctor, my parents. Hopefully this time it's fixed, and just keep healing and getting better and better. So I just thought I'd add that part, because that meant a lot. On the other side, and I think I'll get you guys set up on the tripod. I tried to get the excavator back in the same spot where it was. And yeah, the tree came down pretty good. Of course, I dug around it really well. And yeah, my dad cut it up for me, and I was able to just pile it up over there. They were restricting me to not lift anything over 10 pounds and not do a lot of bending over right now, so he cut that up for me. And the next thing will be this other dead Scotch pine right here. I'm trying to get a good shot of that, I guess. Yeah, I guess you can see it here. That one, it's not really in the way, but it's just gonna give us a little more view from the house there. And I got the ground all graded up pretty good, tracked in. I didn't record that because I was trying to pick out all the roots, and I was trying to salvage some dirt from the edge here, trying to get some clay, and it was just, I don't know if it was lighting or this ditch was dug here a long time ago with the dozer, so I had a hard time seeing where the good clay was. But we'll probably get another load of crusher run. I took another pine tree down on the road straight back behind the house, so I used a bunch of crusher run there, and a lot of what we had left. So yeah, that's gonna, I tried to grade it nice so that the water can come off of there. It's still fairly flat where we can get through there, but yeah, that tree was right at the edge of that blade, and we had to snake through there, and that's gonna make a huge difference. Unbelievable, the roots that are in the ground here. I kept grading and picking through the roots, and it was a real challenge. Excuse me. And I got some topsoil left over, so I'll just leave that there for now. Maybe if I'm out with the tractor sometime, I can find a home for that. The old Bobcat did a nice job, and we're gonna do a oil change and a service on that here pretty soon. As soon as I get a little stronger, get a little stamina built back up. But yeah, that was a nice little project, and thanks for clicking on the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.